Lifestyle is a way used by people, groups, nations, and people living in specific geographic, economic, political, cultural, and religious tests. According to World Health Organization, WHO, 60% of related factors to human and individual health and quality of life are correlated to lifestyle. It is therefore imperative for individuals to understand what lifestyle is, how to imbibe quality lifestyle, as it has a lot to do with negatively or positively the individual's health. That brings us to today's topic, impact of lifestyle on human health. I have a co-anchor, a journalist of our generation, Valerie OPIA. Valerie, you're welcome to the studio.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, viewers.
We have our guest. She is a lifestyle researcher. She holds a doctorate degree in educational management, a retired permanent secretary with the Delta State government, a certified life coach, Dr. Mrs. Florence Ovovwwe. You are welcome to the studio.
Good evening. And good evening, viewers.
Madam, let me ask you, what is lifestyle?
Thank you for this question. Lifestyle talks about activities, attitudes, opinions, beliefs that affect the human life. And when we talk about activities, we mean all you engage in, your health habits, your spiritual posts, the books you read, what you love doing, and your opinions on issues. All this make up what we call activities under lifestyle. So we see that it is the whole portion that we're talking about impact on health, because you are who you think you are. You are what you do, you are what you eat, you are everything. And in these days, we begin to see how people live their lives in ways that you might not really think that there will be any positive outcome. Only few people now really consider what they engage in. For instance, you see our young ones in different forms of unprogressive behaviors, and we see people eating all sorts of things, thinking that that is enjoyment. Actually, lifestyle arose from what we call taking charge of your health. Our world is a battlefield, and we discover that what our bodies are made of are not permanent. They don't live forever. They need to be maintained. And lifestyle is a key factor in maintaining health and well-being.
All right, madam, when you talk about the involvement of the term health lifestyle on dynamic living, can you elaborate more on that?
There are activities or attitudes that you engage in that help you to live a better life, that help you to be focused in life, that help you to make choices that will enhance your well-being. There are also activities you engage in or attitudes that do not support your well-being, because we are born with birth gifts. 3 birth gifts that we are born with. All humans are born with 3 birth gifts. The first one is the power and freedom to choose. The second one is universal and timeless principles that govern everyone on this planet Earth. When you break those principles or rules, you cannot live well. When you break them, you cannot move ahead. You think you are doing well for a moment, but at the end, you will begin to regret why you engage in such things. And then the third birth gift has to do with our 4 intelligences and human capacities. By that I mean the physical, the mental, the social, and the spiritual. So you see, when we talk about healthful lifestyle, it's packaged in these 3 areas. that help us to choose the direction of our lives. If we do not choose well, it will impact us negatively and even people around us. So there's not the modern trend or the current trend of relativism doesn't really help us much, because when I do things that are against me and I say it's my own area, don't intrude, don't interrupt, we forget that we are all one and we are born to help one another. We are all social beings. If I choose a wrong step and you say I should mind my business, the other person should mind his business, it will boomerang because it's going to affect everyone. For instance, you are in a boat on the water. All of you are together and suddenly somebody starts carving a hole under his seat in the boat. Will everyone keep quiet? No. Because when the water starts coming in, it's not going to stop at his seat. It's going to touch. It's going to go around everybody. So we cannot ignore such. We need to know that your behavior affects mine. And so when we choose the ones that are universally accepted, the ones that have been proven to be timeless and spread across all geographical zones, we'll see that we are better off for it, and we're able to address human issues, existential issues better.
Okay, but you made us to understand that there are some human activities that will not really augur well for an individual. Yes. Can you tell us some of the lifestyle that will really impede on the health of an individual, and those positive ones that we can imbibe?
Okay, the ones that are negative, mostly dishonesty with yourself. Dishonesty. You see, some people have framed lies and they live along that line of lie, making you feel that it is truth. When you lie to yourself, we are created to be honest. We are created to have integrity. But when you lie against yourself, you are cutting off the bond that has been given to us, and then you are not going to augur well. Now we also talk of lying against others. Lying against others. You see, the truths that are given in the Bible, those commandments that are given, they are for our good, to make us live well. If we steal from other people, thinking that our lives will be better, we will not get better. We will not get better, because it will turn around to harm us. We are going to pay for it. There is always a balance in nature. And if we begin to engage and take substances that are not good for us, we will pay for it. We are not going to be focused. It will affect our mental health. We are going to be uprooted from the spiritual truths that have been given to us, and then we are going to be alienated from others. No one is an island. And if you are alienated because of our bad behavior, because we can't cooperate, because we can't listen, because we can't suggest and contribute to make the world better, of what use is that to yourself? So the good ones, the good lifestyle that can help you. When we talk of the physical aspect, we are talking of good nutrition. Good nutrition. Eat good food. I'm not talking of the quantity. I'm talking of good food. The quality food. We're talking of living with making your muscles work. What do we mean by that? Talking about exercise. Exercise. And this is more appropriate for those above 40, because you begin to lose muscle strength, your senses weaken, and you are not able to do as you used to do. So we sit down, some of us, where we eat, that's where we sleep. We call people to come and remove the plates, and we think that we are enjoying life. When you don't use your muscles, you will lose them. That's the truth. So physically, we need to do exercise, we need to eat well, we need to manage stress. In fact, that's a key factor now. After the pandemic, the COVID-19 issue, we discovered that people need to build healthful lifestyle, want to boost your immunity, and to be able to resist disease. And when you do some good exercises, and we're talking about moderate exercises that will make you feel good. You know, when you are active with your exercise, you discover that you have a better capacity to resist anger. You have a better capacity to think well. You have been able to secrete good hormones called endorphins to make you feel good. And you are not easily angered. You are able, your brain is open for new ideas, and you become very, very functional and creative. That's the truth. So physically, you need those three aspects to live well. And then mentally, you see, the mind is master. And there is this connection between the mind and the body. You cannot be well in one and leave the other. Remember that the definition of health by the World Health Organization is the optimal, complete mental, physical, spiritual, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. You can see somebody well-dressed and you think, oh, this person is doing well. By the time he starts removing his clothes, what happens? You think, oh, maybe he's gone berserk. The mind. So when you don't have a complete, optimal health in those 4 areas, how can you have good quality of life? You won't have energy. You are not functional, and you will not be able to die young at a late age. What do I mean? You should be able to use your muscles until a very late time in life. But when you don't imbibe this healthful lifestyle, you are going to gradually decline. Your health will decline, and then death will come earlier, and you will not live well. So we're talking of good, positive thinking habits. Wholesome thinking that will make you contribute and serve, not thinking that will make you plan evil against another. That is incoherence, spiritual incoherence. Your mind must be open to help, to serve, because we are created not just to take up oxygen, but to contribute to this world. So we talk about the physical lifestyle that you should imbibe, talk about the mental, we're talking about the emotional now, that will lead you to think well. Emotional means that your mind is at peace with yourself and with others. You are able to listen to others before you respond. You are able to know that it's not everything that somebody tells you immediately that you respond to. You have to be master of your emotions, not your emotions controlling you. Emotions are good. They make you work hard. They make you run from danger. But when it's for an extensive period, and when they are intense, you are not going to work well. You live like somebody that's being chased by a tiger all the day, and you are not going to be functional. So your emotions really, so emotions are very strong, like anger and lust. They are very, very strong. Sometimes they tell reason, go to hell, I must get what I want. But what's the use of going to cure something that you could have prevented? Anger makes you feel very important. Anger makes you feel that, oh, you are the one offended. Meanwhile, you might be the one offending people. And then you burn bridges, you pull down, or you spoil relationships because you are not on top of your emotions. So we're talking of physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. How do you relate to others? Do you give people benefit of doubt when you are working with them? Or do you care for others as you care for yourself? Do you know that when we are living well, it's better than only one person living well? We are one. We are related. Let me put it so. And so, when it's good for everyone, it's good for all.
All right, Matt, looking closely at the genetic factor of the health status as regards lifestyle, what do you think are these factors that affect, the lifestyle from the onset? Okay.
We hear of people having some diseases, and they say they got from their parents, genetically transmitted disease. That means perhaps you have diabetes running in your family. And if you've had parents who died from diabetes, and you should check yourself. You will not just say, oh, it's a disease of the family, let me die with it. So what lifestyle does in such case is that you are able to learn activities that will help you control that.
Okay.
What we say in healthful lifestyle is that your gene loads the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. In other words, if you have a loaded gun, it will work, unless you pull the trigger. So the bad effects of such disease will not show come up without you doing something to. So you must deliberately, purposefully look at the things that will help you to manage that situation and live better. So lifestyle plays a big role in health, in managing any disease that you think you inherited. For instance, there are risk factors in heart disease. Oh, by the way, when it comes to health and longevity, there are no guarantees, just degrees of risk management. In other words, good health is still very elusive, even with all the medical progress in things that detect sickness in your body. You know, they've come up with a lot, MRI, come up with the scan, come up with a lot, but people are still sick. Good health is still very elusive, but we are saying that there are degrees to which you can manage the risk factors. Perhaps you could live longer. To serve, the purpose of longevity is that you can teach younger generations the good things of life, not for you to say, oh, I lived and you lived, without impacting the world. So we know that once you've been tested, you check, you must take deliberate steps through your lifestyle to reduce the effects of such diseases, and you will live better.
Okay, madam, we have people who have said anger runs in our family.
Yeah.
Don't go there. If you go there, you see that the anger. So talking about genetic factor in lifestyle, how should one individual manage anger related to his or her traits?
You see, when people tell me it is holy anger, I want to begin with them. Who makes you holy? No man is holy. What I mean is that we're all born with inherited sin, and there are some we've cultivated, so we are sick. So in order for us not to do things out of anger, when they say anger runs in my family, I believe that is an evil trait.
Or robbery, or pickpocket.
That is
kleptomania.
And was there a curse on the family? It's not a curse. Once you love something, you know, when we go after evil, it's our lust that takes us there, and then we think that we can explain it away by saying, you know, it runs in my family. How can you be proud of vices, for goodness sake, when there are virtues that you should do what? Learn and ask the Holy Spirit to help you so that you live better life. You can't tell me that anger runs in your family. Can you resolve the results of anger? I once watched a man that threw a gas cylinder at a young man. A gas cylinder. And when he had flung it, he said, God! But the young man was very smart. He ran. He would have killed him. And how do you reverse that? So anger makes you feel so important. And normally, it's when you've done that, you've exhibited that anger to that you say, I was very angry. Why didn't you know you were getting angry? So that you can check it. You can check it. It's not everything you address with anger. It's not everything. There are different ways of expression.
So how can one manage such situation? If you know that anger, your family, there's a trait of anger in your family, how do you...
The first thing is self-awareness. You now know. And like we say in our local parlance, the stone you see does not get you blind. Once you know there is anger, you deliberately pray against that anger and make effort to avoid it. Not to express anger. Somebody said...
You cultivate the habit of avoiding it.
Yeah, you cultivate the habit of pulling yourself from expressing the anger. In anger, I'm sorry, if somebody has offended you, you can express it in a manner that will not burn bridges. You can call the person and say, but not in anger. And one of the things I've learned, for instance, you are driving and somebody makes a wrong move in front of your car. You almost hit the person and you didn't hit the person. What do we normally do as a driver? We curse, is it not? Yeah. Did the person hear you? No. So I begin to tell myself, why do you waste your energy to curse? I give myself some positive thought. Perhaps he's rushing somewhere. Perhaps he has bad news. I give the person benefit of what? The doubt, for my own sake. I've seen people who got so angry and fell and died because they didn't know they had some heart issue. So there is a statement I tell people, between stimulus and response. Stimulus could be the thing that will make you angry. Between stimulus and response, the wider the gap, the better your response. Don't respond immediately. Don't respond immediately. Anger could cause a lot of problems, could bring rifts between friends, between husband and wife. But if issues are addressed better, I'll give you this story. There's this man that, will always shout and tell the wife, oh, I'm talking to you, and you keep it quiet. So you think that silence is the best answer to a fool? Oh, okay. And last time you talked to me, I talk to you and you talk to me as if I'm your mate. Those two extremes. How do you expect the person to respond? Yes. And I told a friend, well, if it comes to that, you know that when you talk back, they will say you are answering, you are now mates with the person. Or when you keep quiet, they say, oh, you think I'm a fool. Silence is the best. You better say, look, I'm thinking of how to respond, please. That's the better way. I'm thinking of what? How to respond.
You are in the
middle course. Yeah, in the middle course. So in that, I think your answer can douse the situation. But it doesn't justify the anger that is exhibited by that person. We are adults. And we know that anger cannot resolve issues. So whether you think you have it from your family background or you have it from anywhere, please know that it is not permitted. That whatever has upset you can be expressed in a better manner.
All right, Ma. As part of developing a healthful, lifestyle, what's the connection between the mind and the body?
We call it, there's this from my literature, it's called mens sana in corpore sano. That means a healthy mind in a healthy body.
Please come again.
Mens sana in corpore sano.
Is that an English word?
It's Italian.
Italian, okay.
So that is, he said a healthy mind in a healthy body. The two work together. The two work together. Have you seen people that you give something, there's nothing inside, but you say it's a medicine. You've told the person it's a medicine, and the person takes it and is happy. No, there's nothing placebo. There's nothing there. But because he believes that that will work, it worked. There are many people that we've talked about the mental health being very important for an optimal health, for complete health. Now, we'll talk about a healthy mind, a healthy body. We're talking about your view of life and the things that you can use your mind to do to make you think better, to make you address issues in a better manner. For instance, I like people that are very humorous, humor is a good way to look at issues. Don't forget, we have only one life, and it's a very simple life. You cannot just do everything in anger. You must be humorous. You must laugh at your own mistakes. And you should be able to look at issues and say, oh, this is a small thing, I can address it. So you have to laugh, they said.
No, continue, madam. We enjoy your.
Okay, laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is the best.
To kill stress.
Yes, to kill stress, to look at issues, to give you room to look at issues with a better mind. And you talk of rest for your mind. You talk of living with optimism. You talk of living with hope. You talk of giving people benefit of doubt. You talk of looking at issues and thinking of the best approach instead of thinking of the worst. And you don't see somebody that is smiling and laughing, you say it's because of you they are laughing. You must give the benefit of that. You have a big mind to look at issues and be creative. We also talk of resilience. Resilience is a good factor because we know we live in a terrible world, a sick world, a complex world, and we need to make good choices that will help us, navigate these life issues and live better. So we were talking of you developing a healthy mind, a wholesome mind, positive thinking. That is all. A healthy mind, a healthy body. Now, when it comes to the body, we've talked about exercise. We've talked about good nutrition. We talked about connecting with people and good people. We talked about using whatever, for instance, using your phone well instead of learning only the bad things that come on your handset. We talked about it's a complex world where you allow birds to fly over your head, but you don't allow them to make nests in your head. In other words, you choose what you want. Will it pay me better? Will this thing at the end bring us better life, make us work better and live better, instead of thinking of things that can destroy? So, you build yourself up with good things. You package yourself well with the virtues. Okay. For instance, those virtues, I want to mention them. Okay. You talk about fairness, talk about respect, talk about kindness, talk about service and contribution, talk about integrity, talk about resilience. It's a great one. Resilience is bouncing back from bad things that have happened to you. I know that I have only one life to live.
Okay, madam, we are talking about lifestyle. And they say that every individual in the society will make up a healthy society. Have you, at any given point, look at the lifestyle of our politicians and how it's negatively affecting our society?
I'm not a politician, and I look at politicians. I think the earlier lived a life of integrity, of honesty, of service, then we know that politics is a field of service. Politics is a field that you want the best to come to your constituency. You want the best to reach. So with this thought about greed, appropriating everything to yourself, thinking that if you build an island for yourself and your family, it doesn't matter what happens to the other people, is very wrong. You can't always fly in an helicopter to your compound. You must go through the road, and there are people there who are looking. Why do you want to build a cocoon for only yourself and your family? You need to reach out. So for the politicians, I think, but they are also constrained because they are not the only ones that need to operate. They need every other person around to operate. So I think we're looking forward to where people would really want to serve genuinely to make the world a better place for everyone.
Okay. Why I ask this question is because of this insinuation out there that the lifestyle of politicians who are flamboyantly flouting their wealth has led Nigerian youth to looking at an alternative source to measure up.
Okay.
So how in your own view has the lifestyle of our rich men, let me put it now so that I don't have to, you understand, men living in affluence affected this psyche of the younger generation that's making them have to look into other sources of survival like Yahoo, ritual killing, prostitution and other things.
I think that the older people have failed the younger generation. They have failed the younger generation who have not been good models for them. I think that affluence has a big problem because you don't exhibit such things and then you think the other person will be happy. I heard of the story of, I heard about young men who went to the seaside somewhere in the river area to buy fish, and when they got there they saw a young boy just seated and they asked them, and they drove big cars there and said, well, don't you have fish to sell? He said, is it the sale of fish that gave you this car? We want to be like you. They have left dignity of labor, and that is against natural law. If you do not work, if you do not have the farmer mentality, it's not going to last. What is the farmer mentality? You sow a seed, you weed around it, you water it, it grows, it bears the blade before it produces fruit. But when you come with, only 3 months in an office and you have so much to flaunt around, how do you want the other people to see you? How do you want them? So this is so much deeper, my brother. I really want to say that there has to be a change. We should not allocate too much funds to such offices. If you allocate so much fund, the other people will want to go there. But if you make it more modest, and it's only service that is required, you'll find that life will be better for us. So we really, how do we address this when the younger people want a better life? A life of little service and so much money. That is not how nations grow. That's not how they grow. We talk of service, we talk of contribution. But when you flaunt your wealth, people will be envious and people will want that position. And it's not good. Younger people now begin to do things that are negative to the society, and everybody will suffer.
Okay. Before you come with your question, we want to open up the line now for callers, our viewers to make their contribution, ask questions and suggestions. How can we be a better society? We are talking of impact of lifestyle on human health. And our guest has been Dr. Mrs. Florence Ovovwwe. The number to call is 0812-106-9621. The number again is 0812-106-9621. The other number is 0807-843-4277. It's just already displayed on your screen. You can make your contribution by calling to ask question and make contribution on how we can build a very healthy society that will be good for all of us. Valerie, your question.
All right, madam. You've talked about affluence being exhibition of affluence as contributing negatively to our upcoming youths. So I really want to know that cultivating a sense of purpose, on our personal effectiveness, how does that affect us? Does it affect us negatively or positively?
It affects us positively. The earlier you begin to reinvent yourself and ask deep questions, what is the purpose of my existence? The better for us. When you begin to reinvent your life and say, this is the pattern I want, this is the way I want this done, I for myself, because I am in the midst of this. The world is a battlefield and not a parade ground. How do you impact yourself and your generation? So cultivating a sense of purpose and meaning means that you choose a direction, a good direction that will bring the best to you and to people around you. You want to serve. You want to be the person that is trustworthy. You want to show that you are creative, you are adaptable, and you are flexible in your processes and not your goals. You want to look at the goal and see whether universally is it acceptable. Can I live like this everywhere and I'll be able to make impact? Am I created just to live here and for a brief period? Because whether you like it or not, our existence is very brief. It's very brief. And with the moment you remember that death is at the end, you begin to be sober and think of the things that will make life better, that will make people want you around them, because you are able to contribute to their lives. You are able to make suggestions. You are able to motivate them. You become a good mentor to younger people and people around as you live your life in a simple manner that will make everybody unleash their potentials. So cultivating a sense of purpose means that you are living with a direction aligned to the universal principles that we discussed before. Those principles that will bless everyone.
Okay, madam. We're talking of lifestyle.
Yeah.
I am particularly concerned about our youths, who are the future of this
future leaders.
The future leaders of this country. And most times, the lifestyle they have really
exhibited,
imbibed. So it gets me worried. We're talking of generation that are not deeply involved in courtesan, generation that is not deeply involved in drug abuse, in the illicit drug, and other vices. What is your advice to these youths, because we are talking about living a healthy lifestyle. Drug may lead somebody into along the line getting sick. Some may have mental issues, and some will go into depression and all that. What is your advice to this generation?
I think the young ones should know that there is future for them. They shouldn't mortgage their future for just immediate gratification. In psychology, we talk of deferred gratification. What do we mean? Tomorrow is still very big for you. Today, you need discipline. You need to plan well so that tomorrow will come and then you will enjoy. But when you eat up your tomorrow today, there will be no future. So the young ones should know that they are value to God. They are value. They cannot mortgage that value for anything. They should learn to live above peer influence, negative peer influence. They should be on top of their associations by saying no to things that are strange. We are talking about substance abuse. We are talking about influence at a very early age. Sometimes somebody comes to you and tells you, this is very good for you, it makes you high, it makes you, and please don't tell your parents. You know that thing is wrong. You should know. You should build that strength of character that makes you flow with people that have the good of everyone at heart. So the best thing is, don't hide things from your parents. Don't hide things from adults. Look for somebody you can trust and then discuss with them whatever has been suggested to you, the things you engage in, and know that always prevention is better than cure. Because when you engage in these things, to reverse them, sometimes their consequences are irreversible. And then it will be tough. Life becomes very tough and you beat around the bush and you cannot really make a sense out of it. So the young ones should not hurry into imitating what seems like the good life. It's not the good life. It's not the good life. Life takes turn. You see a child that is born today, the child must learn to sit, to crawl,
to walk,
to stand, and to walk. You don't just, at birth, you begin to walk. No. You are eating up your life. If you tell somebody at age of 25, I should be driving a limousine, what will you do after that 25 if you have a limousine? What life? Will you be able to maintain that lifestyle? It's going to be very expensive and costly for you to live because you will need so much. That is why drug addicts always need a higher dose to maintain what they want. So avoidance is always better. Learn to know that when you align yourself with good things, beautiful things, universal principles, there's always a process that you will follow, and life will give you what is good for you to live by. See, when we have unbridled ambition to be what we ought not to be at a particular time, we run into problem. And envy, you envy these people with you seemingly good lifestyle on television, and you see them, you think they are living well.
On social media?
Yeah, on social media. Why do you think that most of them commit suicide if they are living so well? If their life was really rich, why? Why do you think they do such negative things to themselves? Those ones are just things that have been prepared for television. Their real life is very hard. So you must think carefully before you engage in anything, and always know that living right is its own reward, because at the time you get the best out of life.
Well, we're still focusing on the youth. Now, what are the key aspects of positive behavioral change do they have to imbibe? What's the key aspect to youth?
Okay, they should be diligent. When I mean diligent, they should not hurry over issues. They should learn. They should seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge is very important. Not just information, because there's so much information flying the world these days. So much information. Social media is good in many areas, but it's dangerous because the world has become so small, and people just come up with all sorts of things and spread around the world, and whether you are ready to adjust properly or not, you just imbibe it. Diligence, careful study. Knowledge is very important, good knowledge. And then character development. What do we mean by character? Virtues, self-control. patience, and willingness to work, to serve. Willingness to serve, to contribute. The ability to look at things that are not going well, and you know there's something, and then you change it. You change. You call yourself to order. You become aware of the situation, and you are able to motivate yourself towards the good. That's a good one. Sometimes you have children who you have to push to go and read. But there are some that you have trained themselves to say, this hour I must go to read. Who will do better when you are not there? Is it not the one that has trained himself?
Yes.
Yes, so these young ones, train them from the beginning to learn to understand what is better for them, what is better for them to do, and how to go about it. And they should always ask good questions.
Okay, madam. When we are talking, we talk about people. You know, when we were asking one of the questions we asked here, people committing suicide. That if they were living well, why did they commit suicide? And I've seen the situation this generation that people go into depression very easily.
Okay.
Those are some of the things that also could be associated with unhealthy lifestyle. How can we encourage those who are already in depression, who may be nursing the idea of committing suicide or leaving their marriages to come out of such situations?
I think the answer comes with building resilience. Building resilience. If you know that this life is a battlefield, you will know that you have to become a victor. Don't always think about moving about with victim mentality or how unfair the world is. The world is already unfair before you were born. If it's not fair, why would animals be eating each other? It's not only human beings that are unfair. The world is unfair because we fell and we are trying to come out of this fall. So the younger, for people who are depressed, they should seek help. They should seek help. Some are very serious that they need medical attention. Some, with support from family and honesty with themselves, they can come out of it. But most people go into depression because they feel they are not the center of the world anymore. They expect too much from the world, not knowing that they are the ones to give. For instance, if you do not have value for yourself, if you don't have a good sense of self-esteem, how can you survive? When people talk about you at your back and those things are not right and you want to fall for something, then you are not ready to face the world. The world is not a fair place. You must find your voice in the world by choosing those things that are appropriate for you to do. And you are the one that matters most, not any other person. So you must look at the world and struggle and fight and be able to face the world. Depression is very ugly, but many people seek it when they don't have the power to resist any little pain. They say, oh, the world is unfair.
Let's take this call. Hello? 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 Continue.
Okay. So depression is rampant now because people have chosen not to look at, not to see the world not to put the world in perspective. The world is not a fair place. You must struggle to live there. I was worried with a young man who said, you see, there's so much problem in the world. I think I'm not able to cope. I said, God gave you the ability to cope. That's why you were born. Who says that you are the only one that is suffering? Think of resources you have. Think of the talents you have. Think of what God has done. And if you are grateful, when you learn to be grateful in life, you do not get depressed. It's because we look at our blessings and we say we want more and more. We do not thank God. We are not happy for the ones we have. And so a good sense of self-esteem makes you face the world better. If you fail once, what does that mean? You try again. You don't just give up. That's the point. You bounce back and you look at a challenge as an opportunity for you to unleash your potential and you grow on it.
Hello.
Well,
look, you didn't tell some aspect of my question. I said in marriages people are.
Marriage.
If you look at
the aspect of
marriage.
Let's take this call, madam. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Alpha.
What is Alpha here now?
When you talk about marriage, a lot of
to commit suicide or that.
Okay, yeah. A lot of marriages. You know, marriage is a very complex institution, and it's very difficult. There's no one size fits it all. There's no syllabus that you read for your marriage, because no two marriages are the same. And think about two imperfect people who come together in an imperfect world. What do you expect? There must be conflicts. Unresolved conflicts will lead to a lot of issues. Unresolved conflicts. And if you think that you...
Let's try this one. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and location, please.
My name is Sani.
Okay.
Yes. I think I'm going to discuss the city and then call you.
Okay, what's your contribution?
You said?
What is your contribution?
Yeah, I'll give them now, sir.
Thank you.
We are talking about marriage.
Yes.
And we're saying that marriage is a complex institution because two imperfect people that come together in an imperfect world, you will always have conflicts. We will have conflicts. But I know that with few principles, no two people are always on the same level. That's the point. Because one might be strong, the other will be weak. The stronger one needs to be more patient to bring, because you've embarked on a journey and an adventure. And so you want to go along for a long while. But, when I say but, when there are threats to life, I think there should be some gap and a rethink on both sides. Unfortunately, you can never force the other person to change. You can only change yourself. Unless I decide to change my own style, it's impossible as an adult for you to impose yours on me. So what do we say? If our culture, our upbringing, has been the one where parents fight, where there's no resolution, where there's no mutual respect, some children carry that into their own marriage. And in Africa, where the man is always right, it's always very difficult to get some, I'm not saying most, some, to understand that this person you've chosen as your partner is supposed to be your friend. Somebody that you should cooperate with, somebody you should discuss, and somebody you should trust. So there's a lot of problem. But I always tell people, if it is not life-threatening, you can adjust your ways. You can adjust your ways. Don't always jump out at the drop of a hat. You can always adjust your ways and fix your mind on doing the right thing. Right thing means living well. You don't need to, supposing you are examined and you say, oh, you did something illegal or illegitimate, then that's a bad one. But if you are focusing on doing right, on repairing, knowing that you have to restore balance to the marriage, you will, with the help of God, think of a better way to live. But when it comes to threats to life, physical abuse is very difficult to handle.
Sorry. Hello? Hello?
Please, sir.
Good evening. Your name and location, please.
My name is Babangida, calling you from Asababa, Professor Joe.
Okay, your contribution.
Yes. It's a marriage issue. You know, if somebody enters motor from Onitsha, this person, he made up his mind that he's going to Benin. And you, dear Asabaye, come below the person and say, you must come down for Asaba. Every time you see Nani will take you.
Yes.
Because that one doesn't matter. You just block person by fire by force, you must take Asaba. But the woman, when you just arrange, take time, know her, know where she come from, know her family, at least they were kind on, you go grab and say, I want you to be my wife. You're on your own.
Oh, okay.
Thank
you, Babangida. So it's talking of understanding. You understand? That's somebody's traveling from maybe you're going to the China to Benin. You block him here. Maybe the person wants to, get to Benin first before you come from there. You are blocking here by, catching him by the wayside. So you're talking of understanding. So
understanding and then cooperation.
Yeah.
Understanding and cooperation. By the time women are very easy to handle. I tell you, that is very simple to handle.
Women?
Yes, women. By the time you treat them with love, and they give you all their hearts. That's the truth. They give you their heart. They become your best ally and your defender. But when you treat them, this is scientific proof. When you are so evil to them, they don't forget. They don't forget easily. Why the men can settle theirs physically, the women will keep theirs in their heart. They are afraid. And so they can't easily open up again. They begin to look at it with suspicion. So, like the caller said, if you understand each other, you begin to encourage each other. Mm-hmm. You support each other. I tell you, you will live well. You will live well. So, I think there has to be respect and mutual understanding and cooperation. So that you go there, like I said, if you have a good mind, both of you will be able to encourage one another and support in this journey called life, because it's very complex. To survive is very complex, and if you add misunderstanding, it's going to be harder for both parties.
The caller is also saying you should not pick wives from the roadside.
You
should also get to understand backgrounds and families.
You study
and
people.
Tradition and cultures.
Yeah. But do you think that no matter how long courtship is, can you really know the person except you start living with the person? So what are we saying? Let each one learn the virtues. If you want friendship from your partner, be a friend. If you want respect each other.
Reciprocal.
It's reciprocal. If you want me to do something, somebody said, if you call somebody, say, come here, with that tone. But another person says, come now, which one will be better?
Come.
That's the way you express what you want. Knowing that the other person is an adult. And you too, you're an adult, and then you've come to live together to forge a society, a unit in the society that will produce offsprings. You will bring them into the world, and then you've come to be companions to one another through the journey called life. You'll be able to help. Because I tell you, a time comes when you depend on each other. And the time will not be too far. But if you didn't begin well, it will not end well.
Yeah. Phil, your question?
Well, you've said a lot, and you've got so many points. Now let's look at the aspects of lifestyle among growing toddlers. These children are looking up to the adults to understand and see what they're doing. Now my question here is, can a child, while growing up, pick up some very bad habits from the parents or good habits as a lifestyle?
Oh yes, children copy you. They say, I hear more of what you do than what you say. They watch you, your response to issues. They watch you. They watch whether you're honest or you lie a lot. And they will learn that. When you play tricks on people, they will learn. And the very young ones from the age 4, you see them trying to
imitate.
They throw tantrums. The way you handle those tantrums will tell them a message. This my parent is not ready for nonsense. But when they are able to bend you, they will grow like that. And anything they want, they will grow into adulthood, expecting so much from others. I tell you, young people are like that. And when you expect so much from others, what do you get? You crash. Because human beings are imperfect. They can't meet your demands. They can't meet. You can't meet theirs. But you think that, you are the center of the whole world. And then you have problems. So the younger ones need to be disciplined. But how can you discipline them when you are not disciplined yourself? So adults must learn to know that one, they have responsibility towards the younger ones. Because to groom them, because if the world is better for the younger one, the older ones will be at peace. Be at peace. So you must groom these children. The ones that show anger tantrums early, handle them very well. Handle them. At each age, there are things you should do that are specific to those ages. It's not the type of punishment you give to a 10-year-old, you give to the 4-year-old. Or you discipline. I want to call it discipline, so that they think better. There are some you talk with them, you reason with them, and they remember. There are some that you just give outright commands. Don't do this. And when they ask you why, you say, because I've said so. For the younger ones, very young ones. But the older ones, they will, you talk with them. So it's not the same level of discipline you give to
Talking about discipline, let's come to the teenagers, especially the ones in, most especially the secondary school, students. There's a trend amongst them that, when something comes new to a school, maybe a hairstyle, dressing and all that, you just see it as a trend. They all just emulate each other. And it's sometimes, most times especially, I notice that it becomes a negative impact on them. So what are the things teachers and parents and school teachers and all that should do to curb those excessive behaviors in teenagers especially?
So when children come to school, sometimes they go, the attitudes they put up in school is different from what they put up at home.
Exactly.
Yeah. But when the school notices there's a trend now for wrong dressing, or they copy some type of fashion, you address it. Address it. The ringleaders, call them. You always know who brought this around and all that. And you begin to look at their family background, how they live, who they live with, if they are children or wards of families. You begin to address such matters. You don't just leave them. Don't close your eyes to them. Call them to order. Bring them examples. Teach them. Bring case studies of people who have exhibited such behavior. And ask them, what is the wisdom behind this behavior? What do you think you want to achieve with this type of behavior?
What do you know? Counselors.
Counseling, yes.
Effective.
Very, very effective. Very, very effective. And teachers, you don't give what you don't have. You must learn to show good example. By your attitude towards work, by how you talk to them, and how you pull them to advice. Children watch you, and they know who is doing well. There are some very bad ones. There was this young boy who was living with the grandmother. The parents, the father got again impregnated, the mother, and then didn't marry, and at a very early age. And the father started teaching him how to sleep with women at the age of 14. He became a big problem to the school. A big problem, doing a lot of things, until the teacher and the head teacher went to examine the family background.
What does the father think?
The father doesn't even stay there. Doesn't stay anymore. So the mother, I heard the mother telling the head teacher that if they see this boy around that school, they should arrest the child. Can you imagine your grandchild? Because he had learnt a lot of things. Many of these things come from adults who have not adjusted well to life.
Yeah. What is the place of mentorship?
Mentorship. Good mentorship. Good one. It's very important. You look at the person, the lifestyle, the advice given, and you're able to go and talk about issues. So teenagers are very strong in being assertive. They are very assertive, but they don't have confidence. When problem comes, what do? They still run to the parents. They started it. So when you have a good mentor, they will come and ask you questions, and you will not condemn them. That's the point. You will tell them they can do better, they could change if they are true with you. They are very, very truthful in what they are saying. Talk to them and always call them to ask how they are doing, faring with their schoolwork, faring with behavior, with friends and the rest. Talk with them. Mentorship is very good. Very good. Some pastors could be mentors to some young people. But these days, anybody can answer the name pastor. You don't know who they are. So parents should be very careful.
Talking about that.
How people relate to your children.
Talking about that, between religion, the home, and the school, which of those groups is most appropriate to check the lifestyle of our youths and our teenagers, even toddlers?
I think the parents. The parents. The hours the children spend in school, they are supposed to be in class, isn't it? They have break that relate. But if the student, the teachers have reports and they send to the parents should take them seriously. The parents should take them seriously. And then the religious houses should teach good things. Teach hard work. Teach. In fact, they should live by example. They should teach them good things and relate to them what life is. When you begin to talk about quick money, it's a big problem. When you lay emphasis more on affluence than on service and contribution, there's a big problem there. When you lay emphasis on, oh, I should be the center, and every person should bow to me, there's a big problem. So let's show children what life is. If you are a Christian, live like Christ. Any other religious head you think you are following, live like the person. Show the example. It's a big responsibility to be a spiritual head anywhere, because God is going to hold you accountable for those under you. So we look at parents should be well directed. That's why they should cultivate this purpose and meaning in life.
Any question?
Well, over to you, sir.
Okay, madam, as we round up on this episode of the Meeting Point, what is your final word with regards to the topic we are talking about, impact of lifestyle on human health, generally to Nigerians?
I think the earlier we make good choices, the better for us. Choices that will make us live better. Choices that affect what we eat, our health habits, especially what we watch, what we read, the company we keep, especially handling social media with discipline is very important. It's very important. Let's know that all activities we engage in are by choice. And in as much as we can choose our actions, we might not be able to choose the consequences. They will always come. So let us be very careful how we spend our time, what activities we engage in, and then we should examine the resources we have to live a better life. Always remember that it's more blessed to give than to receive. You serve and then you are served. By the time you contribute, it will come back to you millionfold. So we live a life where we can live the better life for the younger generation, so that they too will have somewhere to stand. If we do not live well, they cannot copy well. So we only ask the younger ones to begin to think and examine their lives, whether they will have future or they are mortgaging their future this moment. Let us know that there's always good in doing good. When you live well, you will get the rewards. That's my...
Thank you very much, our discussant for today's episode of the Meeting Point, Dr. Mrs. Florence Ovowwe, a lifestyle researcher and former permanent secretary with the state government, a lifestyle coach. We thank you for making it to today's episode of the Meeting Point. Valerie, I also want to thank you for joining me to handle this
thank you
episode.
very much. It was my pleasure.
Without you, we won't be here. We want to also thank you for joining us. We can't continue with the call, so join us same time tomorrow for another wonderful edition of the Meeting Point. My name is Mike Eliko.